Heyo! So it's Hannah again. I'm here for part two where we go down deeper into that rabbit hole. So today we're going to talk about human design. And I take it you may not have heard of it because it's a fairly new system. And the name, human design. Sounds like what? Some weird sci-fi cult shit, right? Like it's pretty crazy. Um but what it really is in a nutshell, it's a system for getting to know ourselves better and make decisions that are right for us, not decisions based on what society says or thinks is right for us, okay? It's about what's really actually right for us. So, as I said, it's a fairly new system, but it's based on several ancient systems, including the Chinese I Ching, astrology, chakras, and Kabbalah. So, when you hear about human design, what always inevitably comes up are the four types, which are unique to the system of human design. And as I like to think of them, in sticking with the whole video game analogy, your character class. Yeah, so let's get into that. Alrighty. So again, I'm kind of going to reference Dragon Age, but even if you've never played it, I'm sure you've heard of the most basic character classes in RPGs, right? AKA warriors, rogues, and mages. And mages can be split into, like multiple subcategories. I mean, they all can, but specifically, I would say the two archetypes for mages are the white mage and the black mage. And no, that does not refer to race. You can be a black-white mage or a white-black mage. For those unfamiliar with the whole system and those terms, white mages refer to those who use like more defensive healing magic, and black mages refer to those that use more like destructive and offensive magic, really. But in any case, let's just get right onto it, right to the character classes. All right? So, in human design, there are, like I said, the four major types. Now, the first type and the most prolific type is called they're the generators, okay? So they make up about 70% of the population. And there's also a subcategory called the manifesting generators, which right now there's like some debate whether it's actually its own separate fifth category, but regardless, generators, manifesting generators together, they make 70% of the population. Now, I like to think of them, in my opinion, going back to the analogy of the character classes, I like to think of them as the warriors because, number one, they are the most prolific type. And generally, I don't know, even if people like to pick other characters, I feel like in the worlds of a lot of fantasy games, particularly Dragon Age, like warriors are the most prolific. They're like the infantry, like the major soldier types. But anyways, so back to generators. They are an energy type as categorized by human design because they have a lot of stamina to just go like the Energizer Bunny, outputting lots and lots of energy. They're like, I don't know, like tanks. They're awesome. They can just keep going, keep fighting. However, they were not built to make things happen as society encourages us all to do. Instead, their power lies in their response to situations and external stimuli. They were built essentially to let things happen to them. So, as you can see, if 70% of the population is made up of these generators, and generators are not meant to make things happen, but society encourages everyone to go make it happen. I mean, there's Nike that says just do it. That sums it up in a nutshell. That can be really destructive, right? That can be destructive to most people. So hopefully you can start to see how this could be useful for understanding you and how you work and fit into society and do what's best for you and not for what's best for society. Back to the video game analogy. Perhaps you could say that the pure generator is like a tank. So, because they're more, defense oriented and bulky, and I would say maybe the manifesting generator is more like a two-handed weapon wielder, aka more offense oriented, but maybe not quite as durable or as bulky, because they actually have qualities of the manifester type in human design, which I will be going into soon, but not next. But next up is the next most common type, which are the projectors. They make up 20 to 21% of the population. And again, in my opinion, based on my video game analogy that I like, these ones are the rogues. I'd say that they're the rogues because they are the second most prolific. And so they're a non-energy type. And even though they're not an energy type, they have the ability to understand energy. And therefore, they can bring the best out of others and serve as pretty freaking awesome guides. But because of this, they tend to feel unseen or undervalued, just like rogues waiting in the shadows and waiting and waiting and waiting forever and never actually getting to strike. So, a very specific Dragon Age example comes to mind for this one, actually, which is Cole. Because he, is always trying to help people. He wants to help people. He's always trying to help people. And yet they always forget about his existence. He's like a ghost, which, I mean, technically he is kind of like a spirit. But, yeah, people forget about his existence. And so it's the same for the projectors. They feel like undervalued, unnoticed for their awesome skills that they have and all the help that they're giving people. And as such, the projector's decision-making strategy involves waiting to be invited and recognized by others. Yet again, it's a strategy that involves waiting in a world where we're told to make stuff happen. See that? So, if a projector steps up once invited, however, not only does it bring out the best in others, but it brings out the best in the projector as well. So I like to think of it like when a rogue one-hit KOs like a particularly annoying enemy that the whole party's been like chipping away at and trying to beat, and the rogue just comes up and one-hit KOs it with like this perfectly placed backstab. That's the projector when they are in line with their strategy. All right? That brings us to manifestors, which are my type. Yay! So, we manifestors make up only 8 to 9% of the population. So, as per usual, I am a total weirdo. Yay! And anyways, as such, I would say that we're like the mages. And like the generators in human design, we're also energy types. However, we were meant to produce massive amounts of energy in short bursts only. That means we are not tanks, not in the slightest. For example, the 9 to 5 slog is like suicide for us because it's all about outputting a steady flow of energy, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 365 days a year. And it's just horrible for a manifester. It's exhausting. And I can personally attest to this because even in doing 9 to 5 jobs that I really enjoyed, that I loved, I was just dying inside. I felt awful. I always just felt so drained after work, and I felt like I had no life outside of work because I would always come home and crash after the full 8-hour day. It was just too much. And now it makes sense to me because I wasn't built to output like steady energy like that. I work best in short bursts. Again, my blog posts are another good example. Like, some people, they're posting every day or weekly or whatever. I try to post monthly, but even that, like, sometimes I don't do. Basically, I just do it whenever I feel inspired. And like right now, I'm posting quite frequently compared to my usual amount. And that's because I'm feeling the energy, I'm feeling inspired to do it. But anyways, so back to manifestors in general. We're the only type in human design that is meant to initiate and make things happen like society wants, because actually society was ironically built by manifestors. Mostly these were like the pharaohs and stuff. Like the overlords were mostly the manifestors. But anyways, like mages, the rest of the world tends to either fear us or be kind of jealous or envious of us, and as such, they attempt to restrict and control us, which pisses us off and causes us to be really, really secretive with our intentions. So, our strategy is simple. All we have to do is just inform others when we're about to do something. We just have to let people know, hey, this is gonna happen. This is a thing I'm about to do, just so you know. Now, I think the perfect example of this that comes to mind is, again, it's a very specific Dragon Age example. It's Anders. If you have not played Dragon Age 2 and do not want spoilers, you can tune out for the time being because I'm about to spoil something very big. So, Anders, he's a mage, right? And he seems like so sweet and nice and like such a good guy. And he's your friend. He's your party member. And then at the end of the game, he just blows up the fucking chantry. And not only does he blow up the fucking chantry, but he uses you and your other party members to do it. Like, he basically has you guys get ingredients to make like this mage bomb that blows up the chantry, blows up, like, has after effects going throughout the whole city, and like starts this massive war between mages and Templars across the whole world. And yeah, so that's like an example of what can go wrong when a manifestor does not inform. And in that case, Anders did not inform. He was planning to make this bomb and he never fucking told anyone. He just kind of did it and got people to work with him. And then it had horrible effects for like the rest of the world. So I think that's a perfect example of what can really happen if we manifestors don't keep our powers in check. So yeah, you gotta be careful if you are a manifestor. With great power comes great responsibility, my friend. It's a simple strategy telling other people, but if you're a manifestor, this is easier said than done, because I mean, throughout our whole lives, from the time we're small children, we're just continually shut down by everyone around us because they don't understand us. We're an enigma. And so we're just continually being shut down. And so it leads to us like not wanting to tell because people are just gonna like shit all over our dreams and our plans and stuff if we do. But alas, though we can make things happen and we do have that power, we too actually have to learn the power of waiting for inspiration. Only when our action is inspired will it benefit all parties involved. So we still actually have to wait too. That's the irony of it all. I mean, everyone in the whole world actually has to just wait sometimes, and yet here we are living in this society that's just go, go, go all the time, make shit happen, just do it, Nike. And actually everyone needs to kind of just wait sometimes and let things happen. So that'll bring us to our next type. Reflectors. So also mages, in my opinion, because these ones only make up 1% of the entire population. That's like ridiculously rare. It's like shiny Pokemon status there. So, however, whereas I would say manifestors are more like black mages because of our, strong, we're energy types and we have that initiating energy and we can be very destructive if left unchecked. I would say that reflectors are more like white mages. They have more of like the supportive, healing quality to them. So their design is very open, thus the name reflectors, because they can reflect back basically the energy of the society they find themselves in. And as such, they are quite sensitive to their environments, and they carry a strong sense of communion with humanity as a whole and with, others in their environment. On the downside, when their environment is in disarray, much like the world is at the moment, I mean, it's pretty fucking chaotic right now, am I right? They can feel seriously disturbed and disappointed and just like all out of sorts. So, yeah, when things are bad in society, things are bad for the reflectors. Their design is in tune with the cycles of the moon. So, they need to learn to take time to think on major decisions before they act. Specifically, 28 days, which is, a full lunar cycle. So they just need to wait. Oh, look, waiting again. See the disconnect there? Like, everyone's gotta wait. But anyways, yeah, so like white mages, I feel like they were meant to help heal the world and humanity as a whole. That's like quite the heavy burden, but it's kind of an awesome thing that they get to do. And I mean, I think we all were meant to do that to a degree, but I think the reflectors were meant to do so more so than most because they're so, in tune with their environment. So they're capable of doing some serious good in the world. They just need to remember to take the time to just chill before acting. Just chill for 28 days, one lunar cycle, before taking any sort of action. So, as you can see, this just go, make shit happen society we live in can have debilitating effects on all the types. Even manifestors, which is ironic because we're like the only type that's meant to make shit happen, and even we have to wait. So, as such, knowing yourself and your type can aid in doing what's right for you. What's right for you. Even if you discover your type and it doesn't exactly resonate with you, I would encourage you to basically do what does resonate with you, I guess. Because listening to your inner voice is the only path to true happiness. You just gotta listen, like, you gotta do you, man. You gotta do you, my friend. So, yeah, if this resonates with you, awesome. If not, then you don't have to listen to it by any means. But personally, I've found human design to be very helpful in just coming to peace with who I am and with who those around me are. I guess one example that I can think of off the top of my head was, so as a manifestor, I'm like an initiator, and I'm the only type with that initiating energy, and yet the majority of people around me don't, and they're primarily, they have the energy to wait. Well, I realized actually pretty recently, like within the past year, I started to realize that in all my friendships, I am the one that initiates hanging out, always. I'm always the one that goes out of my way to contact other people and to make, trip plans and to just make simple hanging out plans. And I'm always the one that asks other people, like, hey, you want to hang out? You want to do this? And I was starting to get, like, kind of daunted by it, kind of depressed by it. I was like, if I don't initiate this, then I guess I'm just like not gonna have any friends because no one seems to initiate invitations for me. Like, I'm always the one going out. So I was like, dude, do I just like, just not gonna have friends if I am not the one always initiating? No one else cares to invite me to anything? But now that I understand human design, I know it's because I'm a manifester. I'm meant to initiate these things. And most other people are not. They're meant to wait for external stimuli. They're meant to wait for invitations before taking action. So that just gave me peace of mind about that. I was like, okay, I can keep inviting people and stuff, and it's all good. They don't like hate me or anything. Because I know when I invite people, they pretty much always say yes. They're like always down. And never do they ignore me if I try to hit someone up randomly that I haven't even talked to in years. They always respond. It's just I'm always the one that has to initiate it. And now I'm totally cool doing that. And in any case, I think human design is a great starting point for getting to know ourselves. And it's because it incorporates like all these different ancient systems and is kind of like a fusion of all the systems. I think it's the best place to start when looking at your avatar and getting to know your personal like natal charts and stuff. So when I start my coaching sessions, that is where we're going to be starting. I'm going to be offering a bunch of different varieties from like I'm going to be doing 30-minute sessions, 1-hour sessions, an hour and a half sessions, and then there's also like a month-long like course kind of thing, and then like a 3-month-long course kind of thing that I'll be offering. And in all of those, across the board, we'll be starting by looking at your human design chart and what your type is. Because honestly, I think it's the best place to start. I mean, it's your character class, right? That's the best place to start. Because, for example, like warrior can't do magic. No matter how much you try to get them to do magic, they can't do it. They weren't built for that, right? And like a rogue, they can't be a tank. A rogue can't be a tank. I mean, maybe if you're really creative, they could be, but they're not really built for that, right? So it's the same with human design. Like, some of us are just built for some things and not other things, and we have to learn to embrace what we are really good at, what we're meant for, and like capitalize on that. Capitalize on our strengths and stop trying to force shit that was never meant to actually work. But that being said, my disclaimer is I am not a professional like human design chart reader or anything, nor am I claiming to be. I just think it's a really interesting system and good tool for getting to know yourself, and if you want to initiate the journey of, as I call it, aligning with your main plot line and doing some self-work, self-improvement work, then I think it's a really good tool to use and a good tool to start with. So that's why I will be using it. If, we use it and you're really interested in this stuff, then I highly recommend, hitting up a professional human design chart reader and getting like a full in-depth reading, because them charts are quite in-depth. Like this whole types character class thing, it's only like a tiny little fraction of all that is human design. It just barely scratches the surface. So yeah, if you're down for that, I highly recommend working with a professional. So that's why I decided to talk about human design today. Yeah. So if you have like any questions, or if you're already familiar with it and have anything to say about it, please, leave me a comment or whatever. Send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. That'd be awesome. And I will try to get my next video about the rabbit hole out within the next few days. And I'm going to try to get my coaching launched within the next like week or so. So yeah, if you're interested in that, please keep posted and I will keep you posted. All right. Until next time, I'll see ya. Bye-bye.